Bellows of pain and scraping of chains, the echoes they taunt and deceive me. Oceans of flame and rivers of shame, the fury it never leaves me. Reef in the snow, the winter of woe has come here to judge and bereave me. Lock up the rage, it rattles the cage, the fury it never leaves me. Always within to lurk in the skin, the wounds ever aching so deeply. Try as I may to hide it away, the fury it never leaves me. Long I've suffered the hunger, long I've silenced the cry, long I've fled from the thunder to ascend. Still I try to carry the pain, to keep it contained till the end, to carry the pain, to keep it contained till the end. Pour out the anger and hide it away, lest it spill to the blameless and lead them to pain. In the steel and the rags I will cover the shame, so the innocent need not be judged in my name. Pour out the anger and hide it away, lest it spill to the blameless and lead them to pain. In the steel and the rags I will cover the shame, so the innocent need not be judged in my name.
Hello everybody and welcome to another painting stream. Hi, I'm Andrew, also known as Thanatos here in the internet, and do you want to see something terrifying? Look right there! Right there! It no longer tells me how many days we have until Extra Life. Now it tells me how many hours and minutes we have until Extra Life. Just a few hours left. Well, 73 hours. It's about 3 days. We have about 3 days until the Extra Life fundraising gaming marathon is going to be going on, both in the Abington store at Battleground Games and Hobbies in Abington, Massachusetts, and online over at twitch.tv/Battleground Games Live. So, before that happens, I have to finish building this Bellicor. Well, there's one of the wings. There's Bellicor. There he is. So yeah, we're getting darn close, chat. It's kind of terrifying, but I'm optimistic. I think we might actually make it. We might actually get there. So, today, my goal is paint these little chains that we primed yesterday, glue them on the wings, paint the back of this wing, where I didn't get some paint on there yesterday because I ran out of time. Just the fingers of the wing just need a little paint in between the panels there. And then start gluing. We're going to actually put these wings onto Bellacor's back, hopefully. I did some sanding a while back to expose some of the plastic on the back of his shoulder blades there. Hopefully there's enough plastic there to get a good, firm seal. All right. We're doing this, chat. It's going to happen. And then the next 2 days, for Thursday and Friday, are just an extended finishing Friday. We'll be doing final looks. We'll be doing some shading. We'll be doing some highlighting. Just a whole lot of that, and a little bit of base work, because right now his base is very plain. I want to do something with that. So, well, I feel like this is doable. We're getting so very close, chat. Oh, I can taste it. We can do this. So let's pop over to Zoom Cam. Here we are on Zoom Cam. Blurry. But that's because it's focused there. Let's start with these. Sorry, just bringing my chat up on my phone so that I can participate if anybody decides to hop in there. Let's start with these chains. So figure we'll start with skulls. That's an easy place to start. If you'll recall, I'm painting the skulls darker than I normally do. Normally I do the skulls in sort of a bone color. But for this project, because I'm trying to do a lot of light sourcing effects, we're doing the skulls a little bit darker, so we're going to do them brown. And then we'll add some skull color after they've got a wash and everything. But that's a process that begins tomorrow. Alright, so. Oh man, chat, we're so close. We're so close. It's just, I can taste it. This project that has taken me a month to do. I have to get the YouTube archive going. But that's a separate thing. So we'll do all these little skulls. Chains. We'll do the gold bits. There's a couple little gold bits that need doing. Shouldn't take too long. And then it's a matter of figuring out where these get stuck on Bellacor. So we've got two more skulls like this one that have a little bit of hair on them. And I'm going to do those in two different colors of hair. What do you think, chat? Make one of them a redhead, maybe? And one a brunette? The one that I've already done, which is on the base of the model, we did the hair in a sort of a white, but it came out looking much darker because I did a null oil wash over it. Or maybe I did a brown wash. I think I did a brown wash over it. But anyways, it didn't end up looking very white in the end. get blemishes on the backs of these, because the backs of these are going to be towards the wings, barely visible. Mostly need to get bottoms of them. It's those and the sides. Those will be visible, but not the backs. Okay, 2 skulls. This process of painting the chains will only take a few minutes. We'll see. There's not much to them. Yesterday I had to spend some time, trimming them and prepping them, and then of course priming them. Looking forward to tomorrow and Friday. We're going to be just working on final looks. Just can't believe how close we are to done, Chad. I said yesterday I could probably continue painting this figure for like another couple weeks. There's so much of him and so much that I could do more with. I could easily spend a week just doing details and adding washes and highlights, but I've only got about 2 days. I can do a little bit of painting on stream at the very end. Like, I can do a little bit of work on this during the ExtraLife marathon if it comes to it. But I'd rather be done at last. Getting close, chat. What I'd really like to be able to do is bring this into the store on Saturday so that during the marathon people can actually see what they're bidding on. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm also debating still about how we're going to handle the final drawing. Like, it's going to have to be digital because we've taken tickets online. Although, depending on how many tickets we sell during the marathon online and how many we sell in store during the marathon. No, we'll do it digitally. Because the marathon goes on for hours after the store closes on Saturday night. Because the store is going to close down around 1 or 2 in the morning on Saturday night. But we're continuing to do games and goofs through the night over at twitch.tv/battlegroundgameslive. And we'll be hosting some of our friends who are also doing ExtraLife marathons. 10 Rabid Bears. Things like that. Insidious Pie. So there will be more opportunities to make donations than just during the open hours at the store. This one goes over there. Thought I had too many chains on one side. I'm still trying to keep track of which chains go on which wing, so that when it comes to assembly, it's a little bit more straightforward. There's that skull with a bit of hair on it. So, ideally, on Friday morning, I finish work on this piece on Bellicor, and then Saturday, I bring it into the store, and I put it on the counter so people can actually see what they're bidding on. I'll take a lot of good pictures of it and video and stuff, so that during the marathon we can sort of show it off. I've seen this skull before. This is the one with the little horns. This skull is also on the base. I think all of these skulls are on the base in one place or another. We were talking yesterday about the fact that seeing familiar skulls probably means that Bellicor has been sculpted digitally, and it's just easy to copy-paste skulls you've already sculpted. There's probably 7 different skull models that are being used in this figure, and they're repeated around in different places. I'm sure if I spend a lot more time doing Games Workshop figures, and that seems to be what I've been doing for the majority of my time painting these days, I'll begin to get familiar with certain sculpts that are repeated. Maybe we should name these guys. I mean, the obvious name for this guy here, for this skull with the hair, that's Harry. So from now on, chat, when we see that skull with the hair on a GW model, we'll say, "Hey, look, it's Harry. I remember him." Some of them are sort of generic, just generic skulls, but some of them are easily recognizable. Like Harry there, and there's the guy with the horns, and there's this guy here who has a little crown. A little crown upon his crown. these chains to paint the skulls on, and then we'll move on to the chains themselves. Okay. How is ExtraLife so nearby? I have to spend some time working on the actual setup for ExtraLife for this year. One problem we had last year, if you go back into the YouTube archive and look at our ExtraLife streams from last year, is that whenever we were hosting an outside stream, or when we were hosting John and Sims, and when we did, the werewolf game, and anything that involved Zoom, which we were using to have the video from other sources show up in our stream, the stream itself got sort of stuttery, jittery. It lost frames. And I think that's because the laptop I was using to broadcast the stream had insufficient horsepower. Hopefully it was not just a pure bandwidth issue, because my bandwidth has not significantly improved since last year. But I believe it was probably a horsepower issue, just a running out of RAM and CPU power to run Zoom and Twitch Streamlabs simultaneously. So, fingers crossed that if I use my slightly more powerful desktop computer as a host for the stream, that will alleviate that a little bit. We'll see. It's by no means a sure thing. And I haven't done any testing on it. Testing? Pah. Let's just go live. I know theoretically how it's all going to work. It's just putting everything together. But I've only got 72 hours to do it in before we're going live. This year will be different than last year, because we're going to be going live from Abington first. So for the first few hours of the stream, we'll actually be broadcasting from Abington, which is not something we did last year. Just because last year we started with a role-playing game. We did Kobolds Ate My Babies as a sort of grand beginning. Which was a ton of fun and utter chaos. But that was broadcast, like I said, from here in my apartment from a laptop that was running both Zoom to host the game and Twitch to broadcast it out to the internet. And could have looked better. Hey, we're not a big, expensive professional operation here. Basically, it's just me and whomever I rope into doing stuff with me. And Amanda, of course, she's a big part of all the Battleground Games live streams. But it's not a big operation, and although I know a little bit about getting stuff broadcast into the internet, I am by no means an expert. Alright, that's all the skulls done, chat. How much time did that take? Holy crap, that took half an hour? Oh my god. How? What? That makes no sense. Chat, time makes no sense. Okay. For the chains, two options. I think for the chains on the base, which look fine, these chains here, that is a base using deck tan, and then a blue wash, and then dry brushing over that. So we'll do the same thing with the chains for this. Yeah, the Kobold game was frustrating in that regard, Amanda. That you really didn't get to do much because one of the other kobolds dropped a dirigible on you, which, oops. All right. So now, these chains. There's a lot of them. I hate how time keeps just getting away from me. When it gets to noon, I have to just stop working on these chains, because I can do these later. They don't have to be done now. I have to stop working on these chains, start working on the fingers on the back of that wing. That I want to get a base coat on so that I can stick that wing onto Bellicor. I'm gonna do it today, chat. It's gonna happen. Like, regardless of what else I get done today, I'm going to stick that the chains, or stick the wings on the back of Bellicor. Might not get these chains onto Bellicor today. We'll see. whole reason that I'm doing this way is so that I can paint the backs of the chains before I attach them to the model. So I have to do the back side as well. Because I figured once it's on the model, it's going to be impossible to get the backs. Amanda, do you want this year to come into Battleground for the start of the ExtraLife stream? I realize you have not spent much time in the store, but you've gotten your second vaccination booster. You'll be upstairs in the loft. I feel like you should be a part of it because you are a major part of Battleground Games Live, which grew out of ExtraLife, but has its own sort of existence now. Basically, Battleground Games Live is just you and me, for the most part. These chains are taking so long. Backside. Don't have to be super precise with the backside because they're only really going to be visible from the sides. But if I glued these on the model before painting them, they'd have no paint on the back, essentially. These chains will look a lot better once I get a wash on them. Right now they're glaringly white, but it's okay. Get a wash on them, and then we'll do a little bit of highlighting to make them look a little more reflective. I may need tomorrow, on Thursday, to do a longer stream just to finish these chains, get them all glued on to Bellacore, Start doing some washes.
It's been a long year. I know you're tired and you're blue.
There's a lot to do.
You've been breathing smoke inside this trial of fire, but you got through. And I know the world's gone wrong, but you're still present, you're still strong. Hold on.
Okay, so this one chain, which is not one of the larger ones, took me 10 minutes to do this base coat. And there's 8 chains total. 80 minutes, give or take. It's too long to spend on this. So I'm definitely going to have to stop working on chains at some point and start working on wings. Give myself another 10 minutes, so we'll do one more. This chain is the one that has a crown hanging from it. It's the one that was one of 2 options. Remember, the other option was a more 40K themed chain that would have a Space Marine helmet hanging from it. I chose not to use that because I want this to be a piece that has more. I want it to be usable both for 40K and Age of Sigmar, and having a 40K helmet glued to it pretty much locks it down to just 40K. Whereas a crown, actually I guess the 40K variant has a laurel hanging from it, which is not specifically a 40K thing, but is more 40K than Age of Sigmar. So that's most of the front side of this done. The crown, I'm going to do a mustard yellow, so it's going to ultimately have a gold look to it. trying not to slather too much paint on these. I realize that when I get to doing a wash, it's going to get into the links and give them more definition, but I'm trying not to go overboard right from the get-go. Not that it really matters on the back side, like I said. I want some paint on the back side so it's not obvious that it's unpainted when you peer at it from the side, but it doesn't have to look spectacular because it's going to be facing the wing. So that was a smaller chain. Took me like 5 minutes. I think I can do one more smaller chain. Nothing too exciting about this one, chat. No skulls or anything on this. Might do a little gold just to break up the monotony. Maybe do the top of this mace head here in gold. Honestly, don't know which side of this is the front and which is the back. The skulls all face out from the wings, which makes it easy to tell on those pieces which side is the front and which is the back, but this piece it's less obvious. I suspect this side is the front, but I don't know why I have that suspicion. So there's nothing on it really that lends that impression. So that's a couple of chains mostly done. Not completely done, but mostly done. Obviously, just base coat, not any of the final detailing. It's going to make them really pop. But there's some chains mostly done. How much time do I have? It is 11 o'clock. All right, I said at 11 o'clock I was going to switch over. So now it's 11 o'clock. Let's switch to painting the fingers. Just trying to clean this brush because I want to preserve it if I can. Continue to use it for a little while. You can see, chat, that it's got a curl at the end now. I'm not good with my brushes. Alright. So this wing here, I need to do these fingers, and I need to do this arm. And we're doing those in a dark charcoal gray. We can do washes on them once they're attached to the model. I just don't want to have to do this intricate fine line stuff before I get it on the model, because it's going to be awkward to do this once I get it on the model. Just because instead of being just a single piece of plastic, I would be holding the entire Bellicore model to do this, and man, that's going to be hard. But I want to get this on there. I feel like I can't do final looks. I can't do the dry brushing and edging and stuff like that until I have the model fully assembled, because the angle of the lights on it is going to be determined by the relationship between the pieces to each other. By which I mean there's going to be light sourcing from the flaming sword that I'm going to be doing, and I need the wings to be attached to the model to know where that light sourcing is going to go on the wings, things like that. One thing I'm going to do with regards to the light sourcing on the wings is that it's not going to affect the webbing where we have this sort of starry skyscape. That is not going to be affected by the lighting in the piece, in the same way that the night sky is not affected by a campfire. Campfire could be reflected in clouds, but it's not going to be reflected in a clear night sky, which is what we have between the wings here. And I think it's going to help, hopefully, to sell that illusion that I'm trying to do here. We'll see. But we're going to be doing some dry brushing and edging and stuff like that. To make it look as if the flaming sword is casting a pale green yellow glow. Once I'm done with this, getting these fingers done, I'm going to do the actual gluing. So we're only a few minutes away, Chad. Maybe a half hour. I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take me to do these fingers. I feel like it took me longer than I anticipated to do the fingers on the other wing. Because I'm trying very, very hard not to get paint on the webbing, because that would ruin the illusion. That's why I'm using one of my finest brushes for this, which means it's taking a lot longer to do. Okay. It's progress. It's slow progress, but it's progress. Pretty happy with how these wings ended up looking. Certainly an interesting look. So much to this. Never done anything on this scale before. This is the longest finger. So once I complete this finger, I'm more than halfway done. I'm actually going to come back and do the middle of these fingers with a different brush because it's too slow to do it with this fine-tipped brush. This is fine for doing the sort of the outline, the edges. It's too slow for doing volume work. And this is where painting becomes a breathing exercise for me, as I find myself holding my breath whenever I'm doing a fine line. Which makes for less chatter during the stream, so doesn't make for anything very interesting for you folks to listen to. I mean, I love doing detail work like this because it feels like it's the most intense piece. But I'm sure it's not the best content for streaming. It's very satisfying for me as an artist. Areas like this right here, where I don't know how best to handle the transition between the Bellacore flesh and the space-themed webbing of the wing. Just leave a sort of a point like that. I think it's fine. So I don't know quite how to do the back of the figure when we get to final looks, because I'm doing the front of the figure with the sword and base as light sources. So on the front of the figure, there's going to be the reflection of the flame, providing light on the figure. On the back of the figure, do I introduce a second light source? I think I do. Just like an external light source that's providing shadow and highlights on the back. That's something for future me to deal with. Future me being tomorrow and Friday. Coffee time. Okay. That was the longest finger. Where are we temporally? Yeah, it's only taken me 17 minutes to do one short finger, and one medium finger, and one long finger. This finger that I'm working on, and then one more finger, and then we're on to the arm. So, yeah, making progress. Have to remember, come back in and do all these rings. He's got these bits here between the fingers, or, like here, 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 here. These are all in the sculpt. The piercings, the rings that are holding the chains on the front of the wing. progress. I keep seeing shadows just from the way the light falls in my workstation here. I'm thinking that there are areas I haven't painted, and then realizing, oh no, that's just a shadow. So tomorrow I'll be doing a wash on all these bits that I'm painting right now. Tomorrow my goal is washes on any base coat area I have not got a wash on yet, which will be these backs of the wings, the chains that hopefully I'll be able to finish base coating. Probably won't finish them today. That's why tomorrow might be a longer stream. And then we'll start doing some dry brushing, some finer detail. And one more finger. Not a finger. Getting close. Getting close. Close to doing some gluing. I actually think having paint on these fingers makes the wings more interesting because it breaks the pattern of the nebula in an interesting way. Makes the starry sky more striking. making a good point on this brush. This brush has served me well. This is my second of this style of brush. And this one has lasted a lot longer than the first one did. First one got a clump of paint stuck in it because I didn't wash it enough at one point, and it splayed the bristles. And when the bristles splay, your brush is essentially dead. Or at least you can no longer do precision work, and the whole point of this brush is precision work. Alright, I think that's that finger done. And switch to a bigger brush for the arm. It's got a lot more space to go over. Excellent progress, chat. Side of this here. See how much faster that is than it would have been with the other brush. Okay, arm. This brush is not in great shape. That's fine. Adequate for the task that I'm putting it to.
Listen to
rings. Okay.
Step out into the sunlight, emerging from the past to breathe the breezy morning air at last. We walk the sunken highways, we wander hidden roads.
Getting there. So close, chat. So close to being able to glue this onto the body of Bellicor.
It's a brand new American dream for me and you. These West Virginia wildwoods across a world of waste, a garden with no fences and no gates. We're building on the ashes, we're lighting up the towns. Our reclamation day has come around. We're starting over, built something new. We've been a long, long time waiting, but we made it through. We're starting over, red, white, and blue. It's a brand new American dream for me and you. And like a mushroom cloud we rise and spread over each road and mountain range. New wars to wrangle and new blood to shed. We know that some things never change. We're starting over, build something new. We've been a long, long time waiting, but we made it through.
So chat, soon I should have a new toy to play with for painting. The Abington location of Battleground within the next month or so, I think. Should be getting in the new Army Paint Speed Paints. Speed Paints, which are contrast paints, just like the GW contrast paints, but from Army Painter. If anybody out there is unfamiliar with contrast paints and how they work, they are a base coat and wash in a single bottle. So the idea is you shake it really well, and you apply a single coat, and that coat applies both the base and the wash. So as it dries, the wet portion of it sort of pools into the gaps. So you can do the effect of two coats in a single coat. It's a pretty nifty trick. And when those come out, I'm probably going to pick some up. Because Amanda's played with contrast paints a little bit, but I have not. army paints come in the eyedropper bottles. I'm curious how that'll work. Anyways, that's something I'll get to play with soon. Alright, that's it for the charcoal gray. Now, a couple other little details. There's those rings that I mentioned that we had to go back to. There's some little scaly bits that I want to do. And then we're going to do the thing, chat. We're actually going to get there. Actually going to glue this actual piece together. Pretty good timing, I think. It's 11:38 right now. So it took me about 40 minutes to do all the fingers and stuff on the back of the swing. Not that I really need that benchmark for anything else unless I do another Bellicor, because there's no more wings to do the backs of now. Forward to tomorrow. Final washes. Finish up those chains, get them glued on. Get started on some of the highlights. Realize how many of these little rings there are until you go to paint them. It just never ends. I thought there was one more. Where'd it go? I saw it when I was applying the base coat. Oh, there it is. Subtle. It's up here. Okay. So let's do the brown of these or these scales, there's going to be a brown wash that goes around this, so it'll look less jarring in the final product. Then, chat, it's almost time. It's almost time for glue. Alright, if there's any bits that I've forgotten to paint, I'll just have to catch up to them later. It's time now to attach these wings to the back of the Bellicor model. Then we'll go back to work on chains. Chain gang. Yeah. Right. Just throw that brush away. All right. Plastic glue time. Put this out of the way for a moment. I don't want to go too overboard with the glue, but I do want enough to get a good, strong seal. This is one of those contact points that I'm least confident in the model. So it needs a good strong seal to hold it in place. Grab that brush. It's annoying me that I'm like leaving it on the floor. I got it. Okay. Okay. Alright. Here we go, chat. See, we've got a nice big area here to apply the glue to. I might have put too much glue on there. It's okay. And then this is going to go right here like that. Hold it in place. A little too much glue, but that's fine. Better, I think, in this circumstance, too much glue than too little glue. So I'm just going to hold it in place for a little bit. Hope this seal takes. Not enough time. Not enough time. Or too much glue, or too little plastic. Chat, I don't know. I might have messed up. By not masking the shoulder blades, I might have messed up. Oh, that's annoying. Come on, plastic glue, do your stuff. It's just such a big, heavy piece. Holding for now. So be very careful in putting him down. Grab the other wing. Okay. Yeah, because there's primer here. It's not making a perfect seal. The whole advantage to plastic glue is that it actually bonds plastic to plastic. And it does not bond plastic to primer. I mean, I sanded some of the primer off to try and get a better seal. It's holding all right. Okay. Here comes the second wing. Come on. On you go. Why is this not seating properly? There we go. Okay. I just have to hold it. Yeah, I tried scraping off some of the primer lobster. It just, I don't know if I scraped off enough. Alright. But look at that, that's what the wings look like in their totality when fully attached. Just have to wait now. Have to cross my fingers. The glue does its stuff. The magic of plastic glue. That one seems to be working better. The wings are not terribly heavy, but they are very large. So there's a lot of torque probably. I'm just gonna set that aside. Hope. I don't know how to put this down in a way that doesn't stress the wings. I'm gonna have to repaint some of the join here. There's a little bit of glue oozed out and mooged up some of the paint, but that's fine. set him aside for now. Hopefully. There. Delicately put him down. Don't want to put any stress on the wings if I can avoid it. Dang it. What if I lay him on his back? Will that work? Maybe? No, I don't like how that's pushing on things. I'm gonna try propping him on some junk on the desk. Hope that. There we go. Careful, careful, careful. Okay. Now, while he dries, I guess that's it for today. Chat. We'll finish work on those chains tomorrow, and we'll attach them to the main body. We'll do some washes, get some final details done. And then, of course, finishing Friday is going to be all about getting all the little highlights and stuff in there. It's a lot to do. It's a lot to do. And Amanda did say that, you know, I might end up doing some painting on stream during the Extra Life Marathon. Oh, thank you very much for the bits, Lobster. Yeah, it is a big step, adding those wings. 72 hours remaining until the Extra Life Marathon. So that's not very much time at all. Actually, you know what? I should stay live for a few more minutes. Then we could raid Pi. Because she's starting today at noon instead of at 1. So I'm actually going to work on a couple more of those chains. Just for a few minutes, and then we'll go raid our friend Insidious Pie. I don't know what she's playing today. Maybe more of her cat RPG. I don't know if she finished that yet. She's been doing a cat RPG that looks kind of fun. But let's just kill a few minutes. Do a little bit more work on these folks. Back over to Zoom Cam. Ah, 6 minutes to go. So yeah, that makes sense. Let's just do a little bit of work on these. We'll be attaching these to Bellacore tomorrow. These chains. So very, very, very close, chat. But yes, it is a big step getting the wings glued onto the Mini. Hopefully they'll stay glued on. Give the glue a little while to set. Take some nice pictures and post those to my Discord, my Instagram, Facebook, so folks can see Be'lakor with wings every day a little bit closer. How much time was it taking me to do these little things? I think it was like 10 minutes to do one chain. So by the time I'm finished with the base coat on this chain, both sides, it should be time to raid Pi. So on these chains, before I can glue them on, I do have a little bit more work to do. I'm doing the tops of the skulls and various other points with a sort of a gold look. So we're going to do those in sort of a mustard yellow as the first step in doing that gold look. There's going to be a few details I can't really finish on these chains until I get them attached to Be'lakor. For example, right here, this bit here is a pair of loops, but then this middle bit here, right here, I believe is Be'lakor flesh. Like that's a part of one of the fingers. So we'll be doing, final touch-ups on that once these are actually glued onto the mini. Tomorrow, finish the wings, or finish the chains. That'll probably take about an hour. Glue them onto the wings, and then start washes on the backs of the wings. And there's a few other little areas that need attention before we can start in on the highlights, the dry brushing and such. But I do hope that I'll be able to get to dry brushing tomorrow. Get a little of that done. Because there's a lot of detail work to do. Tomorrow will probably be a slightly longer stream. Alright, let me finish this up. And then we'll go raid. We'll go a-raidening. That's pretty much the perfect little time killer. Big steps, small steps, lots of progress today. We're getting closer and closer to being finished with this project, just in time for the ExtraLife Marathon. So, thank you so much for being here, chat, as always. It is a pleasure having you with me on this journey. And we're getting so very, very close to done. In the meantime, chat, let's go raid our good friend Insidious Pie. And I hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon, evening. Tonight on Amanda's channel over at twitch.tv/MerrimanLion, she will be beginning Night Watch, which is my favorite Terry Pratchett book. So I hope you will be able to join us for that. Oops. It would help if I could spell here. And I hope you will join me in this raid. So, thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Be excellent to each other, and I will see you all very soon. Say hello to Pi for me, our good friend. Be excellent to each other, and enjoy whatever art it is you choose to do. I will see you all tonight. Bye, everybody.